Okay, y'all, so story time. So, today I had to go out downtown LA. I had to go to this interview. So, if you know anything about LA, if you know anything about downtown LA, you already know. It is like a chaotic mess down there. All sorts of things. Businesses, homeless people, mentally ill people, all different kind of companies, all kinds of stuff down there, okay, right? So, I'm on a train and I'm going downtown LA, and of course you just see chaos on the way. But especially I'm coming back from my interview, and of course I'm walking the streets and there's like all kinds of like sketchy crap going on. First of all, the building that I was in, that I had an interview in, they have this ground level where there's restaurants, reception, things of that nature, and they have like a common seating area. Now, granted, the people that work in the building are supposed to be the only ones up in there. But of course, there's some lingerers that come in. So there's this homeless guy. He comes in and he's just pacing back and forth, just looking all around. And he comes up to me and he's like, "I like your blouse," because I have like a blouse on over this tank top here. And he's like, "It matches your hair." And I'm looking like, my hair's in plaits pulled back, but okay. So I was like, okay, thank you. And I just keep focused on what I'm doing, because I'm just like, I ain't got time today. Now, I know some of y'all might be like, well, that's a compliment, Bessie. It's really not that deep. No, because let me tell you something. Compliments here usually lead to them asking or saying something else. So I just say, thank you, and I keep pushing. So there was that. Then he was chilling and he started charging up his devices and started doing all kinds of stuff. And he started asking people for stuff. And I'm just like, see, this is why they don't be wanting y'all in here, because y'all are doing a lot. Now, I move forward from that and I leave and I head to the train. Get on the train and there's this homeless guy that gets on there. Now, he's mentally ill, as well as obviously he's homeless. Y'all may ask, how do you know, Bessie, that they're homeless and they're mentally ill? Well, when you live in LA long enough, and then I've lived in New York, you can distinguish usually who's homeless and who has a mental issue. So as I was saying, mental issues are usually sometimes not that hard to see. Like, you can kind of tell what's going on. So he gets on the train, I sit down, and then there's a guy that sits like in front of me, and he's leaning up against the door, and he has this Smirnoff in a can that's clearly like half drunk or whatever, and he just has it sitting there. And at this point, he's against the door, and he's like licking on the can, and he's just kind of like looking at the can, and he's like caressing the can, and he puts the can up to his ear, and I'm just like, okay, like, you know, I'm not here to like cause a frenzy. I understand people have mental illnesses. I just leave it at that. So finally he starts crinkling up the can, and when he crinkles up the can, he's just like he's telling the can he loves it or something. And then he like indents a part of the can, okay, y'all? He indents a part of the can, kind of like when you squeeze it, and in that indent of the can, all you see is him just like this. And I'm like, is this guy serious right now? So then he takes the can and he swirls it around his head over this way. And I guess he starts like rubbing it on his neck this way. So then he spills some of it on the guy that's sitting in front of me. And the guy's like, dude, kind of like, you know, don't say anything but makes that face. And then the guy gets ready to like get off the train. So he's like, I'm sorry, right? So he brings the can back around, and he still continues to just like in the crease of the can, guys. After that, next thing I know, he takes his fingers and he's just like, y'all think I'm bullshitting? I'm not bullshitting y'all. And I'm like, is he like fingering the can? Like, is he like pretending that he's like doing some things to the can like it's a woman? Finally, this girl gets on the train. She's a young, very slim lady, light, nice blonde hair, whatever. She sits down. She sits in that same seat that the guy was sitting in. The guy starts looking down at her and she doesn't realize. And he's all in her phone, watching her, whatever she's doing. And he just gets more into the can, guys. And I'm just like, oh my God, okay, this is getting real fucking weird. So the girl just so happens to look up because she probably could see what's going on above her head. And she moves to sit next to me. So she goes back into her phone, and guys, the guy is still staring at her. It's still going in on the can. And I'm like, this guy is dead ass serious. Like, dead ass serious. Y'all, after that, I just ended up, my stop came, I got up. And then I think when, like, this black guy had looked back at him, because he didn't know what was going on, but he could tell he was doing some weird shit. Black guy looks back at him and he, like, sits up straight, act like he was doing nothing at all. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, that I see on the streets and on transportation is insane. I had to share that story with y'all because I was just like, man, am I going to run into any more on the way home? And I was almost certain that I was, because the area that I live in is just like downtown. But y'all, I'm telling you, I just cannot make this shit up.